Good morning from beautiful Brisbane, Australia. How are you this morning? And welcome to CPTSD TV Live. And it's great to have you with me this morning. My name's Linda. I'm your certified trauma recovery coach. And this morning we're going to be covering how to change an automatic response which keeps us living in the past. So if you're having a response, an emotional response that comes up out of nowhere when something's, you could be sitting in front of the telly or TV, and then you find yourself going, oh wow, it made me emotionally respond, and I resourced the past. So I went back to a past event that happened, like, I remember when mum and dad did that to me, and this is how it made me feel, and then you end up in all this emotional turmoil. Okay, it's quite natural for that to happen with complex PTSD. And what we want to do this morning is give you a really good, fun way to manage that and to stop it from happening so automatically. One of our global family members asked the question, how can we stop this from happening? And so I've come up with a really fun way. So if you're here for the first time, remember to say g'day. It's great to have you with us, and welcome to all our regular class members. It's always fun to have you here. Good morning, Katja. It's great to have you here. And this morning we'll get to it, okay? So if you are having these kind of overwhelming emotional responses, it's okay, because we haven't known how to manage these emotions until now. So the first thing we want to be aware of is that it's an unconscious response. It's not something that you're actively choosing to do, because as the family member said in their message, we don't want to act like this. We know it's not who we are. It's not part of our essential self, and we don't want to keep this response happening. Good morning, Diana. Good morning, Laura. And so what we're going to do, good morning, Diana. We've got both of you this morning. It's awesome. So what we want to do is begin to stop the fear response happening before we even get the words out of our mouth. But we can't do it if we attack it as a fear response, because what that fear response does is trigger our limbic system to go into either fight, flight, freeze, or fawn. So even though the words that are coming out of our mouth are referencing the past, it's actually unconsciously triggered some part of ourself where it's unknown to us. So all these unprocessed parts sit in a part of our brain called the amygdala, because they haven't been filed away into the hippocampus, into our app called the hippocampus, which is our filing cabinet where everything gets filed away nice and neatly. Okay, so we don't want to give ourselves a half time. We don't want to give ourselves a hard time about this. We want to go, right, that was an unconscious response. Somewhere in amongst all of this, my brain felt that I was threatened, and it went off with the trigger response, all right? What we want to be able to do is get ahead of the game and begin to change it up. So what I want you to be able to do is pick a YouTube video that makes you laugh. Now, I'm not talking about, oh, haha, yeah, I'm talking about a YouTube video that makes you have a big belly laugh and a good laugh for 10 minutes. And you want to watch that every day. Now, here's why. It's not just the laughter factor. It's actually what the laughter does is change up our breathing, okay? It changes us up from shallow, because when we're laughing, we're taking life in, we're in the here and now, and we're responding to it in reality. And Dr. Bessel van der Kolk will tell you the hardest thing that we face is facing reality, which when I first read that, I was like, I'm here now. What are you talking about? I'm here now. But it's our brain and our body that have got to get on track and be here now, because they've held on to so much stuff that's unprocessed, all right? So when you start doing this, and it's got to be done consistently, so every day put an alarm on your phone, and you are going to find 10 minutes worth of video on YouTube that's funny to you, and you're going to watch it religiously for 10 minutes, and you're going to laugh. Despite how crappy you feel, you're going to laugh, okay? And it's the best thing, because what it does is it's going to do, apart from training up our brain, that we can make these choices, be safe, we can laugh, it's also going to change up our breathing patterns. Now, we need to have our breathing patterns changed up in advance of trying to do anything that changes a trigger response. If you try and do this in the middle of having a trigger response, you run the risk of being triggered again, because you're introducing something new to your brain, okay? And your brain just goes, right, we're off and running, and we're having an even bigger meltdown right here, right now. And we all know what that feels like. It feels like crap, okay? And it's frustrating, and it's emotional, and we cry, and I've stamped my feet, and I've gone, oh my goodness, why is this happening, you know? Sorry, Diana. Oh, you did laughing yoga for a while. Oh, that sounds interesting. Laughing can hurt your diaphragm. Well, we're not breathing that deep just yet. When you're on hypoarousal, you haven't even got down to the diaphragm to breathe yet, because your body, if you build this awareness around your body and you're just starting, you can find that you can't get past your throat. I know when I first started doing 5 seconds in and 5 seconds out when I went to bed every night for 1 minute, so that's 6 times each, I couldn't get past the tightness, the tenseness in my throat. And it took me a long time to be committed to the process of feeling safe to breathe. Okay, and then as I went down through my body, I actually had to feel comfortable in the gut area before I could even get to the heart area. So I want you to be aware that it's going to be different for everybody, okay? Good on you. Diana says she watches a couple of comedians' monologues. Good stuff. All right, and I know you do the trauma-informed movement too, which you know changes our lives because it changes our brain, okay? It helps our brain know we're safe. All right, sorry, I'm getting off track here. So we want to do this to change up our brain responses. We want to do it to change up our breath responses. We want to do it to retrain our body and brain that we are safe right here, right now, to enjoy life. Because we are carrying so much tenseness inside of us that we haven't even touched the surface of as yet. And I know, because I've had to live this to break free of it too. So I don't want you to feel that you're alone. You're not. And the point I was making is that we need to do this because we can't do it when we're getting triggered, because we can trigger ourselves again. We want to put the process consistently in place every day so that when we do get triggered, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have that video saved, and this family member has a spouse, and we're going to sit with our spouse and hold hands. And even if it feels like we don't want to, we're going to do it because we're in a safe space. So obviously you're only doing this with someone who's safe. And we're going to watch the video, and we're going to feel how hard it is to laugh. All right. Now, in that moment when you can feel how hard it is to laugh, that's when you're going to teach yourself to take some deep breaths in. All right. Our brain needs that experience of that reality of how hard we are finding it when we're triggered to actually breathe. All right. So my goal is to have you doing it every day for 10 minutes. And then when you're getting triggered every night, you're going to focus on watching the video, and I want you to give yourself that experience of how hard it is for you to actually breathe when you're triggered. Now, why would I do that? Because it sounds like, not insanity as such, but it sounds like, why am I giving you something hard to do? Well, if I don't give this to you and you can't experience how hard it is to breathe in the moment that you're triggered, then you've got no, it's not emphasis, you've got no motivation to start doing the work to break free of the trigger, because I know you and I know our family members, and I know that you do not want to go through this triggering process all the time. So once you've built your awareness in how hard it is to breathe in this moment, you can look at your spouse or, message your friend if you're doing it on your own and say, wow, this is really hard, but I'm going to break free of this. So what happens is when you give yourself that awareness that right in this moment, this is hard, that makes you more determined that you are going to break free, okay? And you stand up and you go, damn it, my brain's, shutting down on me, and I've had no choice in it for this long, and I'm going to do something to change it, which means I'm going to watch this video every night when I get triggered, okay? Because it's going to help me build into my awareness of when I'm triggered, how hard it is for me to breathe. Okay, and then when I know that I'm not the cause, me personally, Linda, here right now, I'm not the cause of, all of a sudden I can't breathe. It's my brain that's driving it. It's my unconscious responses in the primitive part of my brain, wired in when I was a child, and the minute we realize that, we can go, oh, I can breathe again, because A, it's not my fault, but B, now that I know and I understand what's happening, I can begin the process to break free. Okay, so I hope that helps. I want to let you know that this PDF, I've actually written out a PDF with more information on it, and I'll put the link up down below after I finish the live, because now I'm on a camera. Now I'm on a phone camera instead of my big computer camera. I can't just add the link in automatically for you, but I will do it so that it's another visual that you can keep up in front of you, all right? Print it out, pin it on the fridge, do whatever it takes to remind yourself that every day at a set time you're going to sit down and you're going to laugh, because when you get triggered every night, you want to have the experience and you want to know that you can be safe to feel that experience, that your brain's shutting you down. And the next thing is you want to know that you're safe to start laughing while you are shut down. Because in the past, we shut down because we had to, that fear was to keep us safe. But now as adults, we don't need that fear. And I'm sorry I'm missing all your comments because you're all just commenting so fast. And yeah, that's right, Diana. This stuff brings results, and it's practice, and we do get results. And look, I do this stuff myself, okay? This one I came up with for a specific family member, but it's something that we can all do. But like yesterday, we couldn't get into gym. Nick and I went to go to gym at 5 a.m. We couldn't get in. So what did we do? We worked through what we could do, and we ended up going for a walk around the block. Same amount of time as the gym actually, but I couldn't breathe no matter how hard I tried. When we were coming probably over halfway through, all of a sudden I'm so tight I can't breathe, and I know that it's not me. It's not that I'm unfit, it's not that I can't focus on my breathing for half an hour. I know that my brain is having a response to something in the environment. So I have to take my time. So what am I going to do today? I'm going to go and do it again until whatever it is in my brain that needs to feel safe in that environment can feel safe, and know that I'm the adult and I'm safe. I can do this. I'm safe. I said that to somebody once, you need to know that you're safe. And they looked at me like I had two heads, and I get it. Look, I get it. I get that sometimes I walk around maybe with even three heads. We don't know. But this is programming. This is unconscious programming that we've had in our childhood, And if we don't address the unconscious programming, how are we going to integrate and even get into that space where we can free our body? Okay, so read Bessel van der Kolk's The Body Keeps the Score. How are we going to be able to feel what we need to free our body of if we don't even build that awareness around what's happening at our brain level? Okay? All right. Oh, Kathy, don't be sad. I understand sad, actually. Kathy, I want to tell you something. And this is something that I probably haven't discussed before, but I have said to my son, I said, sometimes I get really upset because I didn't cause this, okay? I didn't cause my brain to develop this way. I didn't cause my body to develop this way. And sometimes it is sad and it is hard, but you know what? We do it anyway. We do it knowing that on the other side of it, we have a far more fulfilling life than possibly, I can't speak because I've not experienced trauma, but I know that we come through this with a deep passion for life that possibly other people don't, okay? Because we already lost everything before we had it, okay? Think about that. We already lost everything before we had it. And now people actually, people have quite interesting responses to me because I'm really passionate. Like if somebody does something really well, I get really, oh, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for doing that. You know, I love it. And people get really like, she got 2 heads? No, I'm rocking 3 today. No, I kid. Because I lost my life. You know, this robbed me of over 2 years of my life. Robbed me of so much time with my children when they were growing up. It robbed me of being able to be in the moment and celebrate so much, you know, and we have to give ourselves permission that sometimes it is damn emotional and it is damn sad. But you know what? At the end of the day, we get to live the most beautiful life because we are so full of life, because we know what it is to have lost so much before we even had it. And not only that, we get to be the first generation who break the cycle so the generations after us don't have to live like this. The generations after us don't have to live in an unconscious manner, right? They don't have to accept that just because the family did it one way, we all have to do it one way for the rest of our lives, all right? We get to make a difference in the world, just one step at a time, one person at a time. You know, when I started on this journey, I don't know, probably 1/4 century ago now, around 25 years or so ago, I just sat and I just said, look, if I help one person, then yeah, I'll take the new opportunity, okay? So I want you to remember that love wins, love conquers all, and that you are loved, very much so. And you are allowed to grieve, you are allowed to feel sad, but then we don't choose to stay in it because that's not who we are as people. We want to live, we want to breathe, we want to be alive, and we want to, you know, for me, I definitely wanted to live the life I believed back then that there was a life for me that I was created to live. Do you know what I mean? I believed that there had to be a purpose and a plan for my life, for things to be the way they were. And remember, people my age, we didn't have any of these answers. We've had nothing until now. We've had nothing, and we've had to work our way through this. And the bottom line is that's why the work that I do is so highly effective in such a short amount of time, because I base it on the neuroscience. Okay, everything we do, if we base it on the neuroscience and bring it forward, then our brain actually, when we reconnect the prefrontal cortex in, our brain actually starts putting everything in order, things that haven't been able to be put in order at our brain level, okay, for a very, very long time, okay? All right, good stuff, Kathy. I love to smile for real now too. Yeah, I know, you've been doing the most amazing work, and all of you. And look, even one family member said last week, you know, I've now moved from victim to survivor mode. And you know what? Brilliant. Every one step that we make counts, all right? Every one step once a day that we make counts towards being able to not only live the plan and purpose for our life, but it also means wellness. It means that the generations that come after us will know wellness as well, instead of being born into generations of trauma, okay? And look, we're the first generation that gets to stand up and say, my family has been soaked in trauma for generations, okay? And it's just crazy. And even the science is coming out more and more and more about how much the lack of emotional intelligence, the lack of emotional communication is crippling, okay? It's crippling our internal systems. All right, lovelies, thanks for joining in. Remember, I'll put the link up for the handout for you down below in a moment. And I love you all heaps and lots. And remember, above and beyond everything else, you are loved. And I will see you tomorrow. Bye for now.